Welcome to TRK Studio, where timeless rustic cottage charm meets elegant countryside living. Join me as we explore warm vintage details and cozy decor ideas. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to stay inspired with every new design journey. A rustic vintage cottage living room filled with warm natural textures, featuring weathered oak beams, soft linen cushions, muted cream walls, an aged stone fireplace, woven rugs, antique brass lanterns, and delicate floral fabrics arranged with countryside charm. Distressed wooden side tables hold ceramic vases and textured pottery. Shelves display worn books and old jars, creating a peaceful, realistic atmosphere with timeless rustic elegance perfectly suited for cozy countryside living. A charming cottage corner with a distressed pine cabinet, woven baskets, floral drapery, antique ceramics, soft candlelight, and aged linen textiles draped over a cushioned bench. Muted green accents blend naturally with textured plaster walls, creating a soothing countryside mood. A worn wool throw rests casually nearby, enhancing the quiet vintage charm. Every detail feels warm, authentic, and richly layered, capturing the rustic cottage spirit with gentle elegance and comforting realism. A sunlit dining nook centered around a reclaimed farmhouse table, antique spindleback chairs, gingham linens, rustic ceramic plates, dried lavender bundles, and softly weathered wooden shelves. Muted sage tones complement natural textures, creating a nostalgic countryside atmosphere. Stoneware bowls, linen placemats, and vintage pitchers add character and depth. The space feels warm, inviting, and realistically detailed, blending rustic charm with elegant vintage touches perfect for a serene, timeless dining experience. A vintage cottage kitchen with open reclaimed wood shelving, worn copper pans, stoneware jars, whitewashed cabinetry, linen cafe curtains, and rustic cutting boards displayed naturally. Gentle pastel accents sit among aged textures, creating a lovingly lived-in countryside feel. A deep ceramic sink anchors the room beneath softly patinated walls. Every element blends into a warm, functional, quietly elegant rustic setting filled with authentic vintage character and refined cottage charm. A serene cottage bedroom featuring an iron bed frame, embroidered pillows, quilted blankets, soft cotton sheets, distressed bedside chests, and antique brass lamps glowing warmly. Muted floral wallpaper enhances the pastoral charm while a faded wool rug softens the wooden floorboards. Linen curtains frame the window with gentle folds, creating a romantic countryside ambience. Each detail feels nostalgic, warm, and beautifully textured, capturing the essence of rustic vintage comfort. A rustic hallway with reclaimed timber flooring, an aged console table, botanical sketches, woven baskets, antique wall sconces, and muted earthy tones. The patina of the wood blends effortlessly with textured plaster walls, forming an authentically cozy cottage atmosphere. A weathered mirror reflects soft, natural light, while carefully placed countryside decor adds character. The entire scene feels realistic, serene, and elegantly worn, echoing timeless rustic charm. A cozy cottage reading nook arranged with a deep linen armchair, knitted blankets, a distressed wooden side table, antique table lamp, and shelves filled with worn books and stoneware vases. Soft gingham cushions enhance the nostalgic mood. Rustic wooden beams and textured plaster walls frame the quiet space. The setting feels slow, calm, and richly detailed, capturing the comforting essence of vintage countryside living with natural, warm elegance. A charming cottage entryway featuring aged stone flooring, a reclaimed wood bench, woven baskets, antique metal hooks, checkered textiles, and rustic wall art crafted from weathered materials. A warm lantern glow highlights textured plaster walls and dried florals arranged in ceramic pitchers. The atmosphere feels inviting, peaceful, and authentically countryside. Every detail blends seamlessly to create an elegant rustic mood perfect for welcoming guests with timeless cottage charm. A vintage pantry with open wooden shelving, glass jars of dried goods, woven baskets, linen covers, stoneware bowls, aged copper utensils, and muted countryside hues. A distressed wooden ladder leans gracefully for accessing higher shelves. Natural light enhances the patina of the materials and the harmonious rustic textures. The scene feels realistically lived in, blending charming practicality with elegant cottage warmth and detailed vintage character. A rustic cottage bathroom featuring a clawfoot tub, distressed wooden stool, woven bath mats, antique brass fittings, stone tiles, and muted sage walls. Linen towels rest neatly on wooden shelves beside dried herbs and lavender bundles. Lantern-style lighting casts a gentle glow across weathered surfaces. The composition evokes a serene countryside spa mood, blending natural materials and elegant vintage charm with beautifully realistic detail. A botanical garden room in cottage style, furnished with wicker seating, soft floral cushions, textured throws, terracotta planters, and aged wooden shelves holding potted herbs. Sunlight streams through vintage-style windows, illuminating whitewashed walls and dried flower displays. The muted pastels and rustic textures create a serene, airy countryside atmosphere. Every detail feels peaceful, bright, and authentically aged, highlighting the charm of rustic vintage decor with elegant natural beauty. A quiet cottage workspace with a distressed wooden writing desk, stacked old books, antique ink bottles, woven baskets, rustic stationery, ceramic pots, and warm ambient lighting. Textured plaster walls surround the area in soft, earthy hues. Natural light enhances the patina of aged wood, creating a calming and inspiring creative corner. The mood blends nostalgic countryside elegance with practical rustic charm, forming a thoroughly inviting vintage workspace. A rustic mantel decorated with an aged wooden beam, antique candlesticks, textured pottery, dried floral bundles, muted botanical prints, and a stone surround softened by warm natural tones. The gently weathered surfaces and layered vintage decor create a nostalgic countryside vignette filled with realistic charm. Subtle earthy colors blend harmoniously, evoking timeless rustic elegance and the peaceful warmth of a lovingly decorated cottage interior. A vintage-style laundry room featuring distressed cupboards, woven baskets, linen storage bags, rustic drying racks, wooden countertops, glass jars of handmade soaps, and muted country colors. The aged textures of wood and natural fibers bring warmth to the space. Soft ambient lighting enhances the cozy, functional cottage atmosphere. Every element feels thoughtfully placed, creating a charming rustic room filled with elegant countryside simplicity and beautifully realistic detail. A rustic cottage porch with weathered timber posts, wicker seating layered with wool blankets, hand-woven mats, antique lanterns, terracotta planters, and soft checkered fabrics. Natural greenery surrounds the space, enhancing the gentle countryside mood. The muted tones and worn textures create a deeply inviting retreat perfect for quiet mornings. The entire setting reflects elegant rustic charm blended with authentically aged cottage details. A vintage cottage craft area with distressed shelving, woven baskets, stacked fabrics, ceramic bowls, dried foliage bundles, rustic scissors, and aged wooden surfaces arranged artfully. Natural textures of linen, cotton, and old wood harmonize beautifully under soft daylight. The scene feels serene, organized, and infused with countryside creativity. Each detail exhibits warm rustic character, creating an inspiring and realistic cottage workspace with timeless vintage charm. A welcoming rustic cottage living space arranged around a large stone hearth, linen-covered sofas, patchwork cushions, a weathered coffee table, antique lantern lighting, woven rugs, and aged books. Neutral tones and layered textures create a deeply comforting countryside atmosphere. Vintage pottery and dried botanical arrangements add authentic rustic warmth. The entire scene captures the charm of traditional cottage decor with refined elegance and lifelike detail. A peaceful cottage bedroom corner with a distressed wooden dresser, antique mirror, embroidered linens, knitted throws, ceramic bowls, dried florals, and muted countryside colors. Soft, warm lighting creates gentle shadows that highlight textured plaster walls. A hand-woven rug anchors the space, blending beautifully with aged decor pieces. The setting feels serene, nostalgic, and authentically rustic, embodying the timeless charm of vintage cottage living with realistic elegance. Thank you for watching TRK Studio and embracing the peaceful beauty of rustic vintage cottage style. If you enjoyed this cozy inspiration, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. See you in the next warm and elegant design episode.